Assalamu alaikum. I've received a lot of questions regarding swing trading and whether it's halal or haram, so here's my opinion on this matter. First, swing trading is a style of trading that attempts to capture gains in a particular stock or any financial instrument over a period of a few days or weeks. Now, as it relates to halal or haram, there are essentially two important component parts to swing trading. The first being the fact that there is a trade that's involved. And the second is the time in which the trade happens. So a few days or weeks, as we mentioned. Now, as it relates to trade, obviously there's nothing wrong with this, so long as the asset that is being traded is a halal asset. So for example, if there is a cruise line stock that you want to trade in, you think it's undervalued, but you know that this cruise line company gets a non-trivial amount of their revenue from alcohol sales and gambling, then it is prohibited for you to own stock in this company, and therefore it is prohibited for you to trade stock in this company, even if you don't intend on holding this stock for a long period of time. So long as it's prohibited for you to own long-term, it's prohibited for you to own short-term. So that's something to watch out for. And then also make sure that you own the thing that you're selling, so you're not selling something that you borrowed, for instance, so no short selling. And then the third condition is that you're not using margin that is provided by the broker, because the broker will condition that margin or the extension of that margin to you on you using whatever margin they provide you. And when I say margin, basically a loan. They condition this loan on the fact that you are going to use that loan to purchase something from that broker. So this is haram because the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, لا يحل سلف وبيع. It is prohibited for a seller of an item to extend a loan on the condition that the borrower use that loan to purchase something from the seller, because now you have a lender that extended a loan on the condition that they benefit from that loan, and that's riba. The second component of swing trading that perhaps makes it unique is the fact that the trader will hold on to a particular asset for a very short period of time. And there are no restrictions in Islam for how long you have to hold on to an asset before you sell it. So in light of 1 and 2, and as I mentioned, so long as you're abiding by the conditions set out for halal trade, I see no credible objections that can be made to swing trading as it relates to the halalness of the practice. Now, having said this, I think it's important to remember that just because something is permissible doesn't mean it's the wise thing to do. There may be other permissible courses of action that you can take that are wiser. Now, are there instances where you may find yourself in a position where you have a unique insight on a particular matter and a swing trade suggests itself to you? Sure, that's possible. That's totally legitimate. However, I would caution against adopting swing trading as a general investment strategy. You should own stocks not because you think something in particular is going to happen in the next few days or the next few weeks. Rather, you should own stocks because you think they belong to fundamentally good businesses. Remember, the longer the investment horizon, the more easy it is to predict the performance of a particular asset. And this makes sense. So take the following analogy. Let's say I ask you to predict what the temperature is going to be, what the high temperature is going to be tomorrow at the place where you live. Is it going to be higher or lower than the high of today? Without any assistance, if you're just trying to make this prediction yourself, it's pretty hard to predict whether the high of tomorrow is going to be higher or lower than the high of today. However, if I were to ask you what is going to be the average temperature for where you live over the next 5 years compared to the last 5 years? Well, in light of global warming and the trend towards higher temperatures globally, which is likely to continue for the next 5 years, you would likely say that my prediction is that the average temperature is going to be slightly higher than the last 5 years. And you can say that with a pretty high degree of confidence, and you're probably right. So the accuracy of your prediction for the average temperature over the next 5 years is going to be higher than it is if you're trying to predict what it's going to do tomorrow. And your level of confidence with your prediction is going to be higher as well. Not to mention that the amount of effort that you had to spend in order to make your 5-year forecast was probably even less than the amount of effort you had to put in order to predict what tomorrow's forecast is going to be. So having a longer term investment horizon puts you at an advantage as an investor. And you can see the advantage that long-term investors have compared to short-term investors manifest in the results that each group of investors achieves. So for example, for day traders, it was found that approximately 1% of day traders were able to reliably achieve abnormal profits. And by abnormal, I mean profits that could not be explained by the general movement of the market. Whereas with a buy and hold strategy, if you had a buy and hold strategy over the last 20 years, on average, you achieved 8%. So again, with day traders, most are losing money. With buy and hold, the average is 8%. And with swing trading, you can expect to fall somewhere in between these two strategies. So it's not as bad as day trading, but it's not as good as having a long-term focus. Also, I don't want you to understand the buy and hold strategy as simply buying something and then holding it regardless of any new information that may transpire. Rather, you should always revisit your assumptions to see if things changed, and maybe those things that changed cause you to change your investment decisions. So a better strategy than buy and hold would be to remember Surat AlAsr in the generous Quran. Surat AlAsr teaches us the following recipe for success, and not just success in terms of in this dunya and making it to Jannah, inshallah, but also I think this is a useful recipe for success in any context. Surat AlAsr tells us, translated to English of course, by time, indeed all people are at loss, except those who believe, do righteous deeds, advise each other to truth, and advise each other to patience. When I use this surah to help guide me in my investment decisions, except those who believe means starting with some sort of vision for the future. And then doing righteous deeds means doing my due diligence regarding this vision for the future. Does it hold any merit? Are the assumptions that I'm making plausible? Advising each other to truth means asking other people for their point of view, seeking other opinions. Maybe I'm suffering from emotional biases or cognitive biases that are making me blind to a particular aspect of my assumptions or my vision for the future. And then continuing to do these three things regarding doing my due diligence, rechecking my assumptions, rechecking with others, and adjusting my assumptions when new information is revealed, refining my vision for the future, doing all of these while having patience. While making sure that I have patience. And I think that this is the winning formula for any investment strategy. So my advice to you when you're investing is to always keep in mind Surat AlAsr and remember the 4 components for a winning strategy, and make sure you're checking off each one of these components in your general investment strategy. I hope you found this video beneficial. If you did, I'd appreciate leaving a like, subscribe for more content. If you're looking for a place to get started with investing and you live in the United States, I've been advising people to try out M1 Finance because I feel like the design of their application is tailored for long-term investors, and it encourages investors to get into the right investment habits by making trades limited to a certain time of day rather than having the ability to trade at any time and going in and out of positions frequently. So if you do try M1 Finance, it's a completely free service, by the way. I encourage you to use the link in the description below to support the channel. If you need halal funding and you live in the United States, check out fundmebff.com, the company I started that is providing halal funding for people that they can use for basically anything. And if you're looking for a halal investment, and you're interested in an asset class or a fund that has been outperforming the major asset classes for the last 3 years, basically since our inception, go to fundmebff.com and apply to become an investor. By the way, we can only accept people who earn at least $200,000 annually. Did I mention already you should leave a like? Leave a like if you haven't. Until next time, take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.